So God bless everybody. So as I said, it is January 3rd, 2024. And our church, if you're new to us, or even if you're old and you're not sure what's going on, our church works by themes. So every month we have a theme of the month. And whoever is speaking doesn't necessarily, you don't have to, you're not obligated to speak by the theme. But a lot of us who do speak find it really interesting, and I don't want to say interesting, but it's great to kind of have a path that we're all moving in. And it's also good for the church because we all feel like we're learning. There's something that we're capturing in that month that we're dedicating it ourselves to. So sometimes it's, like last year we talked about the Holy Spirit, or we, talked about the Bible. Today, this month's themes, January's theme, is called Alone with Him, A Solas con Él, I believe it is in Spanish. And so we're going to talk about being and spending time alone with the Lord. Why that's important. Is it important? Why is it important? And how do we do it? I'm going to get into, this is not going to be such a deep Bible study as much as it is how to take time to spend alone with the Lord. And so today's chat is called I Love a Lonely Day. And the reason why I named it that is because as soon as I heard the theme, there is a song, an old song by Amy Grant called I Love a Lonely Day. And I'm going to get into that in a little while and why I called it that. If you're sitting here and you want to participate with us, God bless everybody. Oh, I see there's a few people here already. Nice to have you. If you're sitting here with us and you want to participate, the best way to watch our lives is to participate with us. And so if you want to participate, here's a question that you can answer in the chat, okay? The question is, what is your alone time with Jesus like? What does that look like? Your alone time with Jesus. What does it look like? Okay. Alone time, meaning time that you spend with the Lord by yourself. I'm not talking about church time. I'm not talking about Bible studies that you attend. I'm not talking about, Sunday school. I'm not talking about Friday service. I'm not talking about the kids service. I'm talking about time that you spend intimately alone. I'm not even speaking about family time, because there are many families who have, worship, services in their home as a family, or read the Bible as. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you and God. So if you are interested, I am putting it in the chat. What is your alone time with Him like? And that's the question that we will answer. And I'll look at the chat at the end and see if anybody actually answered it. So feel free to come on in and participate with us. So if you go with me quickly, I just want to look at Luke 5, chapter 16. I'm going to look at Luke 5, chapter 5, verses 15 and 16 for this moment. And so if you can go with me, you can open up your Bibles. That would be fantastic. Again, I've put that in the chat as well. And let's read what God placed in my heart for today. So it says, yet the news about him spread all the more, so that crowds of people came to hear him and to be healed of their sicknesses. And verse 16 says, but Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. Okay. So I want to go back now to the Amy Grant song that I'm talking about, right? Where we talk about, I said, there's a song that she has that says, I love a lonely day. And I'm going to run through the song. If you know it, you can sing it. It says, I love a lonely day. It makes me think of you. So she talks about all the things that happen between her and the Lord when she has a lonely day, where she's alone, where she can spend that time with the Lord. And she says, it makes me think of you. It makes me find your love. It chases me to you, those lonely days. It clears my heart. It's the very best part. It allows the very best part of me to shine through. And I like it. It says, one of the last stanzas says, loneliness is not so blue. Loneliness is not so blue when it puts my mind on you. And one of the things that happens is that when we're alone, and it's hard to be alone nowadays because your phone means that you are constantly in the presence of other people. They might not be in front of you, but they're here, right? They're in your earbuds or earbuds. They're in your, texting. They're in your TikTok. They're in, all sorts of places. And then, of course, you live with people, right? You work with people. And we are constantly bombarded. And it sounds a little bit like what was happening in Luke chapter 5, right? Jesus was preaching and healing people. Maybe you're not preaching and healing people all the time. But just like him, you're surrounded and bombarded by people all of the time. And one of the things that Jesus did was he withdrew, because the loneliness is not that bad. Loneliness is not so blue, like the song says, if it puts my mind on you, on Jesus, if it gives me an opportunity to spend with the Lord alone, then it's not such a bad thing. If you look at the book of Luke, and I'm going to be running back and forth between notes, so excuse me. And I have a bunch of props with me today also, so you guys got to be ready because anything can happen. I'm like a magician today. If you look at Luke chapter 5, one of the things that you will see is that Jesus, the first question that might come to your mind is, why does Jesus need to be alone? Why does Jesus need time to be alone and pray, right? And that's an interesting concept, and an interesting thing to think about. And one of the things that we respond with, the church often responds, is that it was a modeling, that Jesus was modeling for us what to do, right? So, a teacher like myself, I always try to model something first. So I'll show them the way I want it to be done so that then they will do it, right? And so a lot of people say, well, Jesus did that and went away alone and prayed and did those acts of prayer to show people, what it was like, to model it. But the other answer is that Jesus was in the flesh, that he was a human like me and you, that I'm sure he felt stress like me and you, that I'm sure he felt tired like me and you, anxious like me and you. I'm sure he had lists of things to do, just like you and I. And so he needed those moments with God, with his Father, the way we need it with his Father, to speak, to create intimacy with him, and so if you notice in that chapter, he's teaching the crowds. The very first thing you see is that he's in a boat. He asks for a boat. He teaches the crowd from the boat. Right after that, he performs the miracle of the multiplication of the fish. He goes out, and the nets are so filled that they have to get another boat to come, and the nets are ripping, right? It's the multiplication of the fish. And then he's got some guys who start to be his disciples, who start to follow him, who are awed by that miracle. And then now he's got, right, because he's alone, right? And he's preaching, that's a lot to do. That's stressful, let's say. But now he's got a crew who says, we're going to follow you. This miracle is huge. We're going to follow you. And he invites them to follow him. And so now maybe life is getting even a little bit more complicated, right? And then he heals a leper. And as he heals the leper, and the leper is cleansed, he tells him, keep this quiet. Keep this between me and you. Don't tell people that I did this. And what does the leper do? and not just the leper, but everyone starts to tell the tale of what Jesus has done, the miracle, the news starts to spread, and people start to hear. They want to hear the word. They follow him to hear the word. And they also want to be healed by him. And so now we can say that Jesus's life has become even more complicated, right? And I don't know if that sounds familiar to you, but my life is very complicated. Lots of things happening all the time. Lots of places, going to lots of places, doing lots of things. And when that occurs, when you're in that headspace, you need time alone with the Lord. We need intimacy with the Lord. All Christians need time alone with Jesus. We all do. Couples have date night. Families have family night and family time. Girls have girls night, and guys have guys night, and they go into their man caves. And we need Jesus time. We dedicate ourselves to all of these people in our lives. And we also need to have a dedicated time to spend with him. One of the reasons why we do date night, right, with our husbands is because we want a moment where we can connect. Again, life is stressful. I get a date night with you and I get time to connect with you. We sit at a restaurant or we go someplace and we get a chance to talk. Maybe talk about the kids, maybe talk about the finances, maybe not talk about anything that's stressful. Maybe we just want to go and hang out and watch a movie or see, the Christmas tree, or, Christmas is over, but you know what I mean? Or go do something fun together, right? And so we do it because these moments create intimacy amongst us, right? You want a family vacation. Some of us can't afford it, but we want a family vacation, right? Because even if we go to the Bronx Zoo as a family, we're spending time together and we're creating bonds and memories together. We're learning from each other. And in the same way, we need that with the Lord. We need time alone with the Lord. Relationships are built on time and intimacy. Relationships are not about, and if young people are sitting out there listening to me, if we have some of my RTP, I hope that they're there at least on YouTube. Y'all should be somewhere. But if you are, relationships are not based on kissy face. They're not based on holding hands. Relationships are not based on just having fun. Oh, because, also young people and also some of us old people, everything has to be fun and exciting and, yay. And it's all got to be very high spirited and etc. Relationships are not built on those things. Relationships are built on time and on intimacy, on talking, on getting to know one another. And if you want to have a relationship with the Lord, if you want to have a clearer communication with God, more time with God, then I have to tell you that the only way to do that is to spend time alone with him. The only way to do that is to spend time alone with him. So, how do we do that, Mille? Right? How do I get that done? How do I spend time alone with the Lord? How do I, yay, our RTP is here. Yay, I have an RTP here. Yay. I don't know, I can't get into YouTube from here, but if we have any YouTube, if somebody's watching, I know that Sally sometimes watches YouTube and FaceTime and Facebook at the same time. If you guys can let me know if YouTube is on, that would be great. And if people can respond to them, because unfortunately, that's why I'm like looking up and down. I can't seem to get into our YouTube channel from here. So please, please, please let me know if some YouTubers are on. Anyway, going back, how do I do this? How do I create great? Thank you, Sally. YouTube is on. So how do I create this time with Jesus? How do I spend time alone with him? How do I do it? And before I say anything, like I said, I have some props with me today. I have lots of stuff that I'm going to share with you guys today. And before I do that, I want to say to you guys that this is a judgment-free zone. It is imperative. And I'm sorry. It's really warm in here. My landlord is awesome and gives very good heat. It is imperative, and in the past, the church would make, we grow, you learn, you grow, you learn, right? As time goes by. In the past, the church would make people feel some type of way, as the kids say, make them feel guilty about the way you spend time with God. And so it would be, you've got to kneel in prayer for an hour, or you've got to, whatever it is you heard in your youth or in your teenage years, or whatever you heard growing up in church, right? There was this idea that it needed to look a certain way. You needed to kneel down in order to do it. You needed to read certain chapters and verses. You needed to pray a certain way. It needed to be in the morning and not in the evening, or, whatever it might be. I think, and I hope that my pastor and everybody else agrees with me and doesn't get angry with me, but I feel that, and I want to make this a judgment-free zone, because I think it's important for us to just be honest, to just put it out there. Life has changed very much. The people who lived in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s and the 50s have a very different life from the life that we live now. Women did not work, for instance, right? Even the amount of work was less and different. Now it is overwhelming, the amount of work that we have. And I don't want to make it seem like just women, all of us, right? We are taking kids to soccer practice, and we have got social lives now that we weren't even, in the past, for us Christians, social life was church. That's it. That was the social life. Now people have, I've got to have family time, and the kids need to go play soccer. And, my kid has a basketball team and he's in this club, and I volunteer here, and I do this and I do that. And there's a lot, even within the church. Forget all the social life on the outside. Within the church, we do so much. I want to say, not because it's my church, but LPG is awesome. We do so many things. We've got, our Cork, our community organization is always, working. Our missions people are constantly working. The young people, the children, there is constantly something going on. And so we are very busy people, is my point. And so I want to say, don't feel guilty about the amount of time that you spend with the Lord. I want you to think about not so much time, although time is important, right? But quality. I want us to think about quality over quantity. And so let's think about that. What are the things that we can offer the Lord? What can I offer you, Lord? If you have the time, if you are able to, you should pray as long as you can pray, right? If you have a very hectic, busy life and you can't do the 1 hour kneeling down, then that's okay too. The important part about spending a time alone with the Lord is that you're actually spending time alone with the Lord, that it is focused, that it is on him. If you're going to give him 15 minutes, let those be the best 15 minutes. And if you're going to give him an hour, let that be the very best hour that you have, right? Because sometimes we can be in a service, You can come to church on Sunday, and Sunday is how many hours? I don't know. Because between Sunday school and the evening service, it's like maybe 5 hours. I don't know. Maybe more, maybe less. I don't know. And you could be sitting there sleeping and not grasping anything and not having any connection at all, right? Or you could be sitting there daydreaming, or you could be on your phone and maybe you're not paying attention. And so time is important, and the quality of the time that you give the Lord must be important. You've got to give him the very, very best of you, the very, very best of what you can give him during that time. Is it long? Is it short? Again, that's going to be on you, right? Can you give him a long time? If you can give him a long time, give him a long time. Give that to him. If it's a short time, give that to him. And I want to say, I keep talking about short time. I don't want people to think that I'm encouraging everybody to pray in 5 minutes. Because there's another part about relationships, and that is sacrifice. Right? People who want to have children, that's a lot of sacrifice. People who want to have a husband, a wife, that is a lot of sacrifice. Paul talks about that, right? Yeah, it's a lot of sacrifice. You want to have a relationship with your mother, with your sister, with your brothers. That means sacrificing time. And so you want to have a relationship with God. I want you to know that, maybe 5 minutes today, because that's all you have. Maybe 15 minutes. But there's a certain amount of sacrifice that also needs to be done. No judgment on the amount of time, but time must be given. Attention must be paid. And it must be a sacrifice for you, because that's what makes relationships good. If I'm not sacrificing for my husband, for my kids, for my family, then you know what? I question the quality of the relationship. Is it morning? Is it evening? I don't know. I am not a morning person. I'll tell you that. I can't focus in the morning. It's all I can do to get up out of bed. And now I'm a teacher. And so that means I have to wake up at the crack of dawn. I leave my house and it's still black outside. So you can imagine, right? And so, mornings are tough for me. I prefer the evening. But lots of people say that they prefer to wake up in the morning and give that first time to the Lord. And I admire that. I think that's awesome. And so if you're one of those people, you choose for yourself. All of this is about spending time with God, is about loving the Lord, sacrificing for the Lord, and giving him your very best. And it's got to be give and take, right? It's got to be, how does this make me feel? Am I able to do this? Can I give him my very best in the morning? Maybe not. Maybe my very best is in the afternoon. Maybe my very best is in the evening. You choose that for yourself. Like I said, I'm not a morning person. Nevertheless, I listen to the daily audio Bible in the morning as I'm doing everything, as I am, combing my hair, getting dressed, as I'm like drinking all of my supplements and taking my lunch out of the refrigerator. As I'm doing all of these steps, I'm listening to the daily audio Bible. That I don't consider to be my quality time with the Lord. And maybe anyway, I'll say that. I'll say this now. I listened to the Bible in a year with daily audio Bible just this past year. And I decided, and I would do it that way. Early in the morning, I would listen to it while I did everything, while I got everything ready. I would give that. I would listen to the Bible, and that's how I would give my time to the Lord. And obviously I would have prayer life and whatever, but that was, like my main focus in terms of the Bible. And I was telling Tabby the only day, I love the daily audio Bible. I recommend it highly. I'm going to put it inside our chitty chatty so that if anybody wants to look at that. And if, I don't know, some of my very handy dandy people like Amanda or Sally or any one of you, if you guys want to put in the link for the daily audio Bible, that would be helpful if you can. If not, I'll do it later. Doesn't matter. And I love it But I felt that I was being a passive listener. I felt that my time with the Lord was being very passive. I felt that the Bible was being read at me and that I was not taking time to actually study the way I wanted to. And so this year, although I found that year very helpful for me, this year I've decided to do something different. I don't want to be passive in my devotion to the Lord, in my time alone with the Lord. And so that's another aspect for you to think about. I know that, and I hope that Carlos doesn't get offended, but Tabby told me this. When I told Tabby that, I told her, I'm not going to listen to the Daily Audio Bible anymore. She told me, well, you know what Carlos does? Carlos, God bless you. I hope you're there. Carlos actually listens to the Daily Audio Bible, but he does it in a specific time and place, does nothing else, has his Bible, has his coffee, and sits there and listens to it and studies the word with as he goes. And that's awesome. So again, I don't want to downplay anything like Daily Audio Bible or pray.com or any of that. If you're doing it in a more active way, more than what I was doing. Where can we do this? I'm sorry, I'm checking the time. Where can we be alone with God? Oh, that is an awesome question. Remember what we read in the Bible. The Bible says that Jesus withdrew to lonely places. Where is that lonely place? I don't know. I'll tell you this. When I was a young lady in church, in our church, I also did a million things because my life is characterized by doing a million things. I taught Sunday school. I led worship. I was a deacon. I sang with the group. We had a group that I sang with. What else did I do? I led the youth. Oh my God, I was part of the youth. I was a leader of the youth, right? I did a lot of things. I did 1,000,007 things. I worked and I went to school. Time was a great commodity for me at that time. And my alone time with God happened on the train. Because I commuted back and forth. In fact, when I worked on 3rd Avenue, from my house to 3rd Avenue, it was 1 solid hour from door to door. And I took that hour and as the kids say, I ate that. I sat there and I read my Bible and I studied the word and I prayed. And you would think, but you're on the bus. That's kind of crazy. No, it was the perfect time for me. And maybe it feels a little, like I said, nuts, and it's probably best to do it isolated. But at the time, for me, I learned so much during that time with the Lord. Everything was happening around me. There's kids coming on and off the bus. There are people coming up. There's traffic jams. There's horns blowing. But I was in my very own world and I was very focused on the Lord during that time. So maybe for you, it's in your car. Maybe for you, it's on the bus. Maybe it's at your kitchen table like I am right now. Maybe it's in your bed. Maybe it's kneeling down. You've got to pick a place where, again, you can focus and give him your very best. I want to encourage you, if you are on the train or on the bus, reading the word, and you are not giving him your best, if you feel that you're not focused, if you feel like you're being passive, like I was last year, then you know what? Maybe you need to analyze if that's the best place for you to do it, right? So think about that. I was looking, because I was on this topic, and you guys know how I feel about social media. It's ¿cómo se le dice? It's a necessity that I don't necessarily love. And because I'm part of the social media group, ironically, of the church, I look a lot on TikTok and I look a lot on Facebook and on Instagram. I put up a lot of things for the church, and I was scrolling through TikTok and looking at Bible studies through TikTok, like people who do Bible studies. And there are people, I don't know if you've seen this, if you're a Christian, you probably have. There are people who take their Bible study super seriously. There are people who write all over the Bible and underline in different colors. There are people who like have to have their little tabs, and they have all of these tricks, and I love it. I love it. There is a young lady, I wish I would have taken down her handle so that all of you could look at it. I'm going to take her handle. I'm going to put it in our chat as well so that you guys can look at it. I believe because of her accent, I believe she's from Ireland. I'm not sure. She is a youth pastor. She's a mother. If you see the way this woman studies her Bible, if you see the way her Bible is set up, and all of the writing and you can tell that she sits there and really spends time with it. But you guys know Mille. Millie's judgy, as Tabby says, judgy McJudger. And I was like, this girl, of course, she's a youth pastor. So of course she's got hours and hours to read the Bible and to do this. Because I was feeling jelly, like the kids say. I was feeling some type of way. I was feeling jealous. And I was like, of course she can do that, because that's all she's got time. That's all she's doing, right? And then today I heard her say that it took her 5 years to study the entire Bible from cover to cover. And she had started this past year, her first year again. And so then I thought, Mille, stop judging people, right? So what she does is she takes her time. She's taking 5 years to read the Bible. So it's going to be on you how much time, how much effort, what you're going to do. Are you going to be one of those people? I saw people today doing prayer boards. You know how people used to do, what do they call it? Dream boards or vision boards. And now there are people doing prayer boards. So I saw these girls today who were just like cutting things out and just doing a big spread. And so their prayer board is just like a board of things that they want to pray about, right? And so that is time that you're spending alone with the Lord. And I love it and I admire it. And I want to be able to do it. I'm working my way there slowly but surely. But these are things for you to look at and think about, right? As well. How do I spend time with God? What kind of time do I want to spend? What is the quality going to look at? Is it going to be intimate? I don't want it to be passive. I want to be honest about it. If today I can only spend 5 minutes, then it was 5 minutes of the best time. But then if tomorrow, if I can do a half an hour, then it was the best half an hour that I could give him, right? And so I want to encourage you. Do not be like me. Do not get jealous because you see this girl and you see her Bible and you think, oh, well, I wish I could do that and I can't do that. And, of course she could do that because No. It's not about her, and it's not about what people do with the Daily Audio Bible or pray.com or any of the other, platforms. It's about you and how you spend time with God and how you want to spend time with God. And so now I'm going to go to my props, and there's a bunch of things for us to look at. How do you spend time with God? Does it have to be reading the Bible every day? No, it doesn't. Should it include some sort of Bible reading? Yeah, that would be good because that's how God speaks to us. But does it have to be every day? No. Can it be a mix of a lot of things? Yes, it can, and it should be. So the first thing that's the easiest thing is music, right? There is worship music all over the place now. YouTube is a great place. If you are poor like me, YouTube and Pandora still exist. I encourage you to you can work. What was I saying? Oh, geez. So sorry, that interrupted my flow. ¿Qué yo estaba hablando? So you can listen to all kinds of worship music using Pandora, I know Tabby has Apple Music because she's richer than me, and you can do that, and you can put in but listen to worship music, because worship music, I think, leads you to a place where you can communicate with God, where God can communicate, where you can kind of Start to get yourself in the zone. It's the easiest thing to do. It is passive. I love you, Amanda. Amanda says, I abuse Pandora all day, every day. Me too, Amanda. I am abusing it as well. I'm sorry that I can't give them money. As soon as I become rich, I will definitely give Pandora or YouTube some money. But yeah, because you just type in the kind of music you want to listen to. Rene Gonzalez, you type in Rene Gonzalez, and you know what? You can listen to songs that are Rene Gonzalez and like him. And it just, again, it creates a mood, right? It creates an atmosphere around you while you're spending time alone with him. Amanda's laughing now. Yes. What else can you do to spend time with the Lord? So now I'm going to talk about prayer. So there should always be a component of prayer. Not the type of prayer that's like, I need, although that is also a component of prayer, right? I go to my Father when I need something, right? When I was little, if I cut my knee, I would go to my mom, right? If I needed a new Walkman, that's how old I am, I would go to my parents, right? And it's the same thing. Prayer is important, not only to ask, however, but to communicate with him, to bless him, to praise him, to speak with him, to pray for others. It is a really, really important component of your alone time. This is what Jesus did. Again, we're only modeling. We're going after what he modeled, you know? How do we do that? A lot of people use prayer lists, prayer books, where they write down their prayers. Like I said, there are people now who are doing prayer boards where they are, doing, actual boards where they put up all of the prayers that they want answered, that they want to share with the Lord. I heard Steve Harvey recently said, oh my God, I forgot, was it 300 things? To write down 300 things, I think it was, maybe I'm exaggerating, that you want to pray for. And it's everything, anything. It's just like what we call in education a brain dump. Just like everything. And you write it down. And then Steve Harvey says that as things happen, as God starts to answer those prayers, you start to cross them out, so that you can see the hand of the Lord. So that's a wonderful thing to do. I bought this, and I don't know if you can see it, a prayer journal. And I know Amanda's going to say something about this, because I know when I brought this to church once, Amanda told me I have it too. Now, unfortunately for me, Amanda, this did not work. I just couldn't get into the whole prayer journal thing, but this might be a way for you to spend time with the Lord, to write down your reflections as you pray, to write down what God answers. Amanda's saying that she bought a 52-week prayer journal on Amazon. Perfect. And so these kinds of things, these prayer journals are helpful because it's a place to write down your prayers. And for some of us, sometimes praying out loud might be hard. This is a good way to spend time alone with the Lord. That's prayer. Under prayer, I also wanted to show you guys this. My sister knitted a prayer shawl for me. I'm not going to put it on because it is so hot in here because she's giving a lot of heat. So she's my landlord and she's giving a lot of heat. So I'm not going to put it on. But I know that a lot of people like the prayer shawl. And the wonderful thing about the prayer shawl is that it's a covering, and it tells me this is time. This is time to pray. This is time to spend with the Lord. My mother has one as well that Tabby knit for her as well. My mother has a prayer room. She had a prayer room. She's back up to the living room again. She'll probably tell us why in a little while. But that is a lovely thing to do. If you have a room that is designated a place, but spending time with the Lord is about praying as well. Okay, so then a journal, just like a regular journal. This journal is old and has been with me for a lot of time. And I have actual prayers in here that have been answered. And Sometimes if I don't know what to write, or I don't necessarily have a prayer, maybe your mind is kind of like and buzzing, and there's a lot to do. Sometimes I'll write down the lyrics of a worship song that I heard, or I'll sit in church and write down something that I heard from the message, or something that I heard from worship, and I'll write that down and then maybe I can come back to it later and say, why did I write that down? Why did that affect me the way it did? I'm going to go really quick because we're running out of time. I'm doing an hour today. I'm going to get in trouble. Sorry. So, and then I have this, and Tabby has it as well. This is called sermon notes.
I have it.
Yeah, my mother has it too. Where did we get this?
Tabby gave it to us.
Tabby gave it to us? I don't know. So these are my sermon notes. This one is from Pastor Reverend Lopez on March 2022. And so sometimes as you're listening to a sermon, you can take time to write down what you hear. And then at a later time when you're alone with the Lord and you want to kind of like connect with him, you can go back to your sermon notes, right? And kind of, if I don't know what to pray about, or I don't know what to talk about, or I'm not sure what to study, I might look at this and say, oh, Esther Almonte preached last January over Jeremiah 33, 1-3. You know what? Let me look at that. Let me study that. So this is something else that will help you with your time alone with the Lord. More props. This, I couldn't find this, when was it? Monday? And I cried. I was really upset that I couldn't find this. So this is, a lot of us do stuff in church too, right? So I have to prepare. I prepare messages. I prepare, studies with the young people. I prepare my lives. And this is my book. This is my preparation book. You will see me when I preach with an iPad, because I transfer everything to an iPad so that it looks a little bit more clear, because this is cuckoo. That is insane, right? That looks like a crazy woman. But that's what I do to prepare a message. So I think about a topic, and again, I want to use the word again in education. We call it a brain dump. And I write down everything that has to do with that topic. So this one, I was somehow, I guess, talking about Jesus. And so I wrote a bunch of things I wrote Jesus in the middle, and I wrote a bunch of things about Jesus. And as I'm writing to prepare, I kind of start to look and circle and put in color things that really are touching, that the Lord is really leading me to speak about. And so I encourage that as well, that when you need time with God and you're not sure how to do it, do a brain dump. Get a notebook. Mine is finishing, and then I started a new one because I thought I couldn't find this one. But yeah, and write down everything. Write down things that, questions you have for the Lord. Here it is again. That was my message on hope. What was that message? That was called, I forgot, what can the zeal of the Lord do? And it started with this brain dump right here around hope, right? Or brainstorm. I don't like storm because it makes you think like, oh, it was crazy. It is crazy, but anyway. And it started there. That's a way to spend time with God. Oh my God, I'm running out of time. Blah, 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 blah. Let's do meditation next. So meditation, what does that mean? Is it something that only Eastern Mid-Eastern people do, or people who do yoga? No, we meditate as well. Meditate in the Lord. Think about the Lord is what it means. Spend time with God. Spend time thinking about what God has done. Spend time thinking about what you want God to do. Spend time reading about the word. Not always the word, but also what they say. So I wanted to share this with you. This was, it's 260 Journey. This was, I bought this because Leslie recommended it and then gifted it to my mom. Apparently she also gifted it to Nancy, and then I got really inspired and I bought it for myself, and I have started it 2 years in a row and I have not finished it, but this is my year. So this is another thing, and it doesn't have to be this one. There are a million meditation books. My friend Carmen Rodriguez, God bless her. I love her so much. I hope your dad is doing better. I'm praying for him. Carmen sends me texts in the morning. I say that is her ministry. And she sends me like these beautiful little meditations on God, and it's just something that it's like, and I read it and I'm like, oh, wow, that's a beautiful prayer. That's a beautiful, right? Okay. Let's get to the Bible because they're going to kick me out soon. Let's get to the Bible. So as I said, the Daily Audio Bible is an app where you can listen to the Bible in 1 year. And if you're a person who maybe is very busy or you're driving all the time and you want to listen to the word because you want to have it, that is a wonderful way to do it. This year, I've decided that I want to study the New Testament. I have 3 years running. I have said that I wanted to study the New Testament, and I haven't done it. And this is my year. I've started. Today is going to be my 3rd day. I'm using this one. It's called New Testament in a Year. I want to study the New Testament. I want to learn about the New Testament. And so I'm doing this. And it's very small. Again, with my crazy writing in it, you guys are all going to think I'm insane, but it's like a little snippet, a small writing, and it kind of gives me time then to study, because when I'm doing the Bible in a year, you're reading whole chapters, huge chapters, and it's a lot for me. Maybe I'm a little bit ADHD, I don't know, but with this, it's a half a chapter or short chapter, and I can really get in there and study. I ask questions. I didn't ask questions here, but on the other page, like I have questions that come up for me that I want to look up. Do the Bible in a year. I have this one. I did this one, my 1 year Bible. Love this one. It has color. I love me some color. I'm a color girl. And so this is a good one. And that one is illustrated. Spend time with the Lord. Spend time with the Lord. Spend time with the Lord. I love me a chronological Bible. This is my 2nd one. And this one is the chronological Bible in 1 year. And the reason, if you're someone who's really interested in the story and that's a way to connect with God, then you know what? Grab yourself a chronological Bible, because you can read it in the order in which it happened. And I personally love that. My mind doesn't work I love the Bible, by the way, but the way the Bible moves, particularly in the Old Testament, where you have the prophets mixed in after the book of Judges and the book of Kings, that's hard for me to kind of follow. Chronological Bible helps me so much to kind of stay on the story. And so again, this is a way for me to spend time with the Lord, and that's wonderful. Oh my God, Nancy gets text from Carmen too. Isn't that wonderful? To me, I think that's her ministry, honestly. And then I want to give you this Bible. This Bible, I've shown it before on here. This Bible was given to me by the Sunday School Department of LPG in 1992. It is falling apart, as you can see. It's falling apart. I love a good Bible study, and I love a good study Bible. And if you want to spend time with the Lord and really understand the Word, this is a lovely way to do it. You can actually sit and seek and look. Pray.com. If you don't know how to pray, if you need help praying, if you need someone to pray for you, the Daily Audio Bible has a prayer board where you can send in a prayer and people will pray for you, right? But in pray.com, it's so beautiful. Let's say you need healing. And you just don't even have the energy anymore to spend time with God and pray about that anymore. You can click on a healing prayer and someone will pray healing over you. Someone will pray over your anxiety. Someone will pray over a way to have it open. Someone will pray over any issue that you may have. It is easy for you to find. Anxiety, faith, if you you have resentment, if you need joy, if you're angry, all of those things. The important thing is that you spend time with the Lord in any of these ways, in all of these ways. Do them all. Do one today and another one tomorrow. Maybe today I pray. Maybe tomorrow I pray and read a little bit of the word. Maybe tomorrow I read the word and do a study and say a small prayer. Maybe I meditate today. Whatever it is, spend time with the Lord. I love a lonely day. It chases me to the Lord. When I'm alone, I get time to be with me. It chases me to him. It heals my heart. It reveals the best in me. Take advantage of those lonely days. All right, I am talking way too much. It was an hour. You guys have to forgive me, and I am sorry. And because it was an hour, I lost a lot of what was written in the chats, and I want to apologize. The daily audio Bible is up already because Amanda is the best thing ever to be invented, and so she put it up for me. You can listen to it right online, she says. Let me see, what else? Madeline says, I have a prayer blanket. Oh, look at that. Siani calls it the power prayer blanket. I feel so comfortable and secure when speaking to God and use my prayer blanket. Lovely. That's a beautiful concept. So again, a prayer shawl or a prayer blanket, it kind of also like, it tells your mind, it's time for this, right? It's time to do this. It's time to connect with the Lord, to spend time with God. And Nancy was responding to that. Leslie also gets Carmen's notes. Everybody gets, I thought I was special, but I guess she's sending them to everybody. And again, I told her once, I'm like, Carmen, this for me is like, you're feeding my soul in the morning, you know? I usually get them on the bus. And although lately she's been very early.
4 o'clock in the morning.
Well, you know, in Puerto Rico.
No, before.
And even before, yeah. During Christmas, it was like 5:30 in the morning. God bless her. It's something else. She wants the sermon notebook and she's going to look for it. That's Mandy saying. And Leslie also wants the sermon notebook. Let me tell you, I love it. It keeps me focused during messages. I don't get like, you know, distracted. And also like, because we're doing a lot of stuff with social media, like I'll write down quotes that I want to look at later to put up in social media. So that's great. And yes, if I know where Tabby got it or where I got it, I will let you guys know. Mandy loves the journaling Bible. I don't have a journal Bible or writing a journaling Bible. I need a journaling Bible. My name is Mille Perez. You can contact me at 407-969-5996, and you can send me all of your donations of journal Bibles, because I really, really want one, and I haven't been able to afford one, but I want one too. I think it's important. Clarissa wants one as well. I think that's it. Spend time with the Lord, guys. I'm sorry. I know that you guys answered my question, but unfortunately, because I went on for so long, I lost all of your chats and now I can't find them. So I'm very, very sorry about that. I will read them later. I want to say God bless you. Spend time with the Lord. Any type of time with the Lord. I don't care if today it has to be 5 minutes, but give him the very best 5 minutes that you have. No distractions, nobody else. Give it to him. Spend those 5 minutes with him, meditating, praying, reading your sermon notes, studying the Bible. What else did I say? All of the millions of things I said. Any one of those things, journaling for your prayer, doing a prayer board, doing a prayer list, whatever it might be, spend time with the Lord. He wants to be with you. When was it Michael or Rhoda? When my brother was little, mommy already knows what I'm going to say. When my brother was little, he would say to my mother, I just want to be with you, mommy. I just want to be with you. And Jesus is saying, I just want to be with you. I just want to be with you, Nancy. I just want to be with you, Juana. I just want to be with you, Leslie. I just want to be with you, Celeste. I want to be with you. Spend time with him. Take your lonely days, your lonely moments to spend time with the Lord. God bless you. God keep you. God bless you guys. Tabby said Barnes and Nobles. Oh, I didn't see it. All right. God bless you all. I just pray that you guys are blessed by this today. We have a service on Friday. We expect to see you there. Our lives had been shut down because we were all on vacation, and we all needed a tiny little bit of break. And so we were putting up reruns. But today, starting today, we are up and running. And so listen to our lives Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 7:30. Our services on Friday are at 7:45 within the four walls of Love, Power, and Grace at 1455 Boston Road. And then on Sundays, we have Bible school at 10 in the morning. At 10 in the morning, I always forget, at 10 in the morning. And then we have our evening service or our afternoon service at 11:30. Come, meditate, enjoy, spend time with the Lord. I love you. God bless you. I do have to hang up. I do got to get off this thing. All right. God bless you guys. And now.